World of Tanks Auction K2. The K2 is a Tier 8 Russian heavy tank. It's a premium tank. It's available during the auction in February 2023. So this is an overpowered tank. It does have one or two things that aren't that great about it, but mostly it's overpowered. It's not fast, and the regular rounds have low penetration. Everything else is, this tank is a little bit overpowered, and I'm going to explain. The biggest feature is the gold rounds. The penetration is 270, which is going to make it better than just about anything. I mean, this is almost as good as the STRV, which is 289. And the best tank destroyers are going to be around 270. So you have tank destroyer penetration, and everything else about it is good except for the speed and the regular rounds. So if you're a gold spammer, you're going to love this vehicle. So it has a crew of 4, commander, gunner, driver, loader, which means there's no radio operator. Having less crew, in my opinion, is bad. You're going to have problems with less crew. Better to have the radio operator. Not that big of a deal. It is a premium vehicle. The amount of damage is 390, which is average. The penetration with regular rounds is 203, which is very low. The average is more like 212 to 220. So you're better than the light tanks, but you're going to be beneath pretty much everything else. Gun loading 14 seconds, it's kind of long. And then you got the aiming time 2.78. It's not good, but it's very similar to a lot of the other heavy tanks. The dispersion is 0.42. That is not good. Also similar to a lot of the heavy tanks. Hit points are 1650, which is pretty good. The hull armor, you got 160 lower plate, 150 on the side, 120 on the rear, which is very good. It's above the average for other heavy tanks. And the turret armor, 250, 180, and 160 on the rear. So the turret is very good. However, there's a lot of Tier 8 heavies that have similar turret armor. The armor on this, if I did a comparison with 20 vehicles, it's going to put it in like the top 5, if not even higher. So the engine power, it says 715. The top speed is only 30. 30 is very slow. It's going to be slower than everything else. View range is 340. That's not good. That's very low also. The view range is supposed to be based on how high the vehicle is. So a taller vehicle has a better view range. It looks like it was just arbitrary. So I'm going to do a comparison here. So for the average damage at 390, you see across the top, a lot of them are 390. Average penetration, it says 203. It might be the worst. The IS-6 is 196. But you can see that like 221 for the IS-3A and 221 for the Kirovets, that's closer to what the average is. 218, 221, a lot of them are around 220. So this is going to be beneath the average. But if you look over here, you see the average penetration, it says 270. And 270 is going to make it better than everybody. It's going to be better penetration. We'll use the IS-3A, for example. Oh, it's also 270. Huh, that's pretty good. I would definitely get the IS-3A. So we'll use the 112. 250. And we will use, I know that the T-34 is pretty high. Let's do IS-5. I should really be doing tanks that you guys have. 270. So it looks like 270 is pretty common. But it's still kind of high. Like the T-34 should be up there. Can't read it, but it looks like 270. It gave a range. And then we'll check one more. I'll check the 703, the double barrel. 270. Okay, so the gold rounds are really good at 270. You're going to be better than every other vehicle in Tier 8 except for the STRV and the UDAS. That's tank destroyer penetration with the regular rounds. So then you've got the aiming time is 2.78. You can see a lot of these vehicles. You see this one's 3.3, 2.74. This one's 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. And that's, 2.3 is okay. You want lower than 2. But 2.78 is nothing special about that. Number of hit points is 1650, which makes it the best. You can see it's got the best rear armor. For the frontal armor of 250, you see this is 250, 260, 250, 250, 240, 250, 250, 230, 210, 240. 279 are the American tanks. So that means, other than the Uderne, which is at 300, 250 is very common, and it's going to make you just as good as just about everybody else. And the lower plates are really good, 160. You see a lot of 110s and 120s. There's a 190. The BZ is 240, 170, 120. But 160 is also going to be on the upper end. And you got a better side armor than just about everybody. So the armor is really good. In terms of the speed, it's only got 30 when you've got some vehicles as high as 60. 30 is going to make it one of the lowest. You see, you got a 35 over here. And then the view range is 340. You got 380, 410, 4. Well, I might have coated optics on a lot of these. But 340 also looks like it's down at the bottom. So I'm going to remove the non-Russian vehicles, or the ones that don't have the IS style. See what we got. So now you see a difference here with the hull armor. The hull armor beats all of the IS series vehicles, and there's a lot of them, and there's probably more. You got the Chinese and all of the Russian vehicles. And let's remove anything that looks like it's overpowered. The Uderne, you're never going to play. This WZ-113 too, I don't know what that is. So I'm going to remove it. Object 259A, I don't think anybody has that. The Peregrine, that came out last year, nobody has it. So now you see that with the 250, with all the rare vehicles gone, now it's the best armored vehicle in the game. So the Defender's only got 225 penetration and 440 damage. Now you see how it compares. Remember when the Defender came out, the Defender was the overpowered vehicle with the best armor, and this one has far better armor than the Defender. And I'm just looking up the speed, the top speed, 35 versus 30. So remember the controversy when the Defender came out and it was overpowered. Now we've got a new vehicle that is better than pretty much everything that you've already got that is a Russian or Chinese heavy tank. So that's the KT. It's a good tank other than the slow speed and the regular rounds. You know what? If I were to buy a vehicle, I would get the IS-3A and just have fun because it's a lot more fun, or the 703-2. You know what? I would say get the 703-2 if you can. That's the one. That's the one you want to play, the double barrel. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, please post below.